Hey cloud engineers and architects, in this video I will demo how you can run Ansible playbooks on AWS using AWS Systems Manager, also known as SSM. My name is Yann Stoneman and I'm a solutions architect with over 20 cloud certifications and an AWS ambassador, which means I make videos and write blogs about cloud stuff. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about why are you considering using Ansible on SSM? I'm really curious. Before I get into the demo, let me say a few words about why would you want to do this. You save time and money by not having a dedicated Ansible server. You can instead give SSM your playbook and it will target your instances that you want to configure. And it can also simplify your networking. SSM works over port 443, so you don't have to have port 22 open on all of your instances. And you get the benefits of using a managed service like SSM while maintaining the benefits of Ansible. I also want to answer the question, what are the prerequisites of running Ansible via SSM? It must be Linux or Mac. Windows is not supported in SSM's solution for Ansible. The EC2 instance must have the SSM agent installed. Amazon Linux 2 comes pre-installed with this. And the third prerequisite, you must be okay with SSM installing Ansible on the target instance before running the playbook. Now, one question you might ask if you're in a bigger enterprise is this the enterprise version of Ansible or the open source version of Ansible? Well, there's actually only one Ansible, and that's the open source one, the free one. The enterprise offerings of Ansible by Ansible, like Ansible Automation Platform, they add additional functionality, but Ansible itself is still the same. So you're getting that core Ansible that you would get with the Ansible Automation Platform. And finally, before getting into the demo, I want to touch on the differences between why you'd want to use Ansible playbooks on SSM instead of just native SSM documents. Well, Ansible playbooks are declarative, so they can help you correct configuration drift. Natively written SSM documents, on the other hand, are scripted and therefore imperative and only able to work on those situations and configurations the script was written to handle. Plus, you're going to find more engineers comfortable with Ansible playbooks than with SSM documents. You can take those benefits of Ansible playbooks and the benefits of SSM by running Ansible on SSM. And that's what I'm going to show you in this very simple demonstration. This demo takes you all the way from creating an EC2 instance, configuring SSM to use an Ansible playbook from GitHub, and installing and starting the HTTPD Apache Web Server daemon on the EC2 instance. One prerequisite that I skipped showing you in this demo is that you need to have an IAM role for EC2 setup with the Amazon SSM Managed Instance Core Managed Policy attached to it, because we'll be using that when we launch our EC2 instance. So if you don't have that, just pause the video and create that IAM role first with that pre-existing IAM policy. All right, once you've made sure you have that IAM role with the Amazon SSM Managed Instance Core Policy, you can continue. So here we are in the AWS Management Console, and we're gonna go to EC2, and we're just gonna create a new EC2 instance so that you can see this from beginning to end. And we'll just choose Amazon Linux 2 because it has the SSM agent pre-installed. We'll go with a standard size, and we'll keep the public IP enabled to keep networking simple for now. We'll use the Amazon SSM role for instance quick setup. We're just going to use HTTP because we're going to create an Apache web server. I know that's not super secure, but this is just for demonstration. And we're going to proceed without a key pair. And that's because SSM doesn't need a key pair. So here's the article that talks about AWS Apply Ansible Playbooks. And if we go into the console and type in SSM, we can try to find that document. And if we scroll down, there is the section on documents. And let's try to find that. We can type in Ansible, and AWS provides these two documents, and one actually works on Mac OS, but we're going to use the one that only works on Linux, not Windows. And you can actually see the source code for this if you go to content. And you can see you have different options for how verbose you want the output of this to be. And you can see the steps. It downloads Ansible if it doesn't find Ansible, or you can actually prevent it from doing that if you don't want it to do that. And now let's check on our instance. It's probably up and running by now since it's a very basic instance. And let's copy the public IP and enter it. And it's not doing anything because we haven't done anything with the server yet. Okay, and now we're gonna run the command just by pushing that orange button. We're gonna specify a source type. It can be either S3 or GitHub. We'll go with GitHub. We'll change the owner to me, Y Stoneman. And let's grab the repository name. And we'll just keep the path blank and change the branch to main. The reason we're keeping the path blank is because we're just putting the playbook at the root of the repository. The playbook file name is playbook.yaml, and we're going to choose instances manually. We could use tags to choose the instances. We'll enable CloudWatch logs for the output. We can give the log group a name, Ansible example, and run. So it's in progress now. And we can refresh it to check on the progress, and it's still running. And while we're watching it run, we can look at this playbook. So it just sets up a simple HTTP web server on all hosts and installs Apache packages. And I just want to stop here for a second to point out that hosts all means it's going to run on all the servers that you selected when you ran the SSM document. So if you manually selected one or two instances, it'll run on all of those one or two instances. If you selected it to run on all instances with a certain tag, it'll run on all of those hosts. And then we start the HTTP web server. So let's check on the progress, refreshed, and it was a success. We can click on the instance ID or look at the command description, the command parameters. Here you see where the source was, the GitHub repository. Let's click on the instance ID, and we can see there were two steps in the SSM document provided by AWS. And it's step 2 that actually has the bulk of the information, our actual Ansible Playbook output. And here you can see if we do the IP address now, we can see Ansible did successfully install the Apache web server. Now let's go to CloudWatch logs and see if the logs appeared there. We'll close announcements and let's go to log groups and oh, it's not there. So I must have configured something wrong. So let's see if it maybe was a permissions issue. If we look at the instance details and the IAM role, the instance profile attached to it, let's see if it actually has permissions to write logs. And here's the policy on that role. Is there anything related to logs? Nope, nothing that would allow it to write logs. So we just need to add an additional policy. And in production, you would make this more granular so that it can only access a particular log group name. But we're just going to keep this simple for demonstration purposes since the focus is Ansible here. And we'll just give it full access to logs. Definitely not something you want to do in production, but this should solve our error for now. If we go back to Systems Manager, we can rerun the command and it'll probably say something like nothing to do in the output, but at least we should have output in the CloudWatch logs this time. And I'll refresh a couple times to know when it's ready to check the CloudWatch logs. And that was quick because obviously this time it had nothing to do. Yep, there you see in the error nothing to do. And we can click on the complete output for the CloudWatch logs there. And there it is. This time it shows up. We just have those two. We've got the standard error, standard out, and download content, standard out. So make sure you have permissions for the EC2 instance to communicate with SSM and with CloudWatch logs. All right, so let's look at the actions and edit the retention settings. And I think 2 weeks is, for a lot of use cases, a good option. Anyway, I just don't want to have those sitting there forever and me paying for the storage of those logs. If you're using this a lot, that can really add up. That's it. Thanks for watching. My name is Yann Stoneman. And please comment below on what you prefer and why. Ansible on EC2, Ansible on SSM, or native SSM document. Let me know. I'm curious. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it. And if you like what I'm doing here, then hit that subscribe button. And if you want to find my blogs on Medium, the link is below. And yeah, that's all I got. See you next time.